Hello children, the topic for class 10 today is quadratic equations. Yes, in the previous class in the chapter polynomials, we learned quadratic polynomials, right? What was the general form of a quadratic polynomial? ax squared plus bx plus c. Yes, this was a quadratic polynomial. Now, the quadratic polynomial, when it is equal to 0, it becomes a quadratic equation. Are we following? Now, the only condition for this quadratic equation to exist is a should not be equal to 0. Why should a not be equal to 0? Because if a is equal to 0, then this term becomes 0, then it becomes a linear equation. So, the general form or the standard form of a quadratic equation is ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0, where a not equal to 0. Understand? Now, the quadratic equation is useful in our real life, that is day-to-day life, in many situations. It was used to find lengths and breadths of, when the area was given. Then it was used to find speed of a train or a bus or whatever. If the distance and time taken was given, then it is also applied to find out the relatives, using relative speed of the stream to find the original speed of the stream. Then when the speed of the boat that was traversing across it is given, and in many instances we we use this quadratic equations. Now, the quadratic equations, there are three methods to solve it. Okay, the first method is by factorization, the second method is by completing the square method, and the third method is by quadratic formula. Now, the solution of a quadratic equation was given by the Greek mathematician Euclid, and also by an Arab mathematician also. But mainly quadratic equations, the solution is attributed to ancient India. Okay, Indian mathematicians like Brahmagupta and Sridharacharya. Were the main people who gave the formulas. Now, Brahmagupta gave a different method in his time itself, and Sridharacharya gave the quadratic formula and the completing the square method. Okay, so there are three methods. What is the first method? The methods are factorization. Then we have completing the square method. And quadratic formula, by using quadratic formula. Now, the thing is, completing the square method has been removed from the syllabus. So you don't have to study this method. It's a little complicated, so CBSE has done away with this method. So we will only use factorization and quadratic formula. Okay, so it will be quite an easy chapter. Now, the word problems that are being used, in our day-to-day lives to find unknown quantities, for using linear equations and quadratic equations, I will deal in school. Okay, because that some of you had asked how to solve those. It is a little more complex, and it will be better if we have it as an interactive session in school. Okay, so now we'll learn only the methods and we will continue. So the two methods that we are going to learn in quadratic equations will be quadratic formula and factorization method. Now, one of the questions that they ask for the one words is to check whether the given equation is a quadratic equation. Now, you may wonder why they are asking a question like that, but just say you have an equation like this. They say x into x plus 1 plus 6 is equal to x minus 2 into x plus 2. They say they have given this and ask you to check whether it is a quadratic equation. Now we have to expand the bracket. So when we take the left hand side, when we expand this, what will it become? X into x will be x squared plus x into 1 will be x plus 6 is equal to, this is of the form a plus b into a minus b. So what is the end result? A squared minus b squared. So my a is here. So you will get a squared, that is x squared minus b squared will be 4. Okay, now looking at this equation, we find that x squared is here and here, isn't it? On both sides of the equation. So we can cancel it out. Or if you transpose to one side, it will cancel out. So what is the final result that I am getting? X plus 6 plus 4 equal to 0. That is x plus 10 equal to 0. Now is this a quadratic equation? No. So you are expected to expand the brackets and apply the formula and find out whether it is a quadratic equation. Let us have another example. Now just say we have another example like this. You see they have x plus 2 whole cubed is equal to just say x cubed minus 4. This is some example. Okay. Now what happens is we want to know whether it is a quadratic equation. Now here they expect you to know the formula a plus b whole cubed. This we have learnt in class 9, right? What is a plus b whole cubed? A plus b the whole cube is equal to a cubed plus b cubed plus 3a squared b plus 3ab squared. I hope you remember that. Anyway, so using this formula, let me expand the left hand side. What will it become? What is the first? This will be my a and b. So what is my first term? A cubed. A cubed will be x cubed plus what is b cubed going to be? 2 cubed, that is 8 plus 3a squared b, that is 3 into a squared is x squared into b plus 3ab squared, 3 into a into b squared is equal to x squared minus 4. So when you expand again, when you simplify, what will you get? X cubed plus 8 plus 3 2s are 6 x squared plus this will become 3 into 4 is 12x is equal to x cubed, right? X cubed minus 4. Okay, so what has happened? In this case again x cubed will cancel out, and what is the equation that you will get? 6x squared plus 12x plus 8 plus 4 equal to 0. I have transposed this 4 this side. So what is that equation? 6x squared plus 12x plus 12 equal to 0. Now is this a quadratic equation? Yes. So though there are cube terms, finally the end result is a quadratic equation. So this is what you expect to simplify and find out whether it is a quadratic equation. I will give you some sums on this for homework so that you can expand. Either they will give you a plus b whole squared formula or a plus b whole cubed formula or a plus b into a minus b so that those formulas, it's just a recap of those formulas from class 9. So you can do the sums all based on these formulae. Okay, now let us go to the first method of solving a quadratic equation. Now the first method is factorization. What is it called? Factorization method. Now factorization method we have already learned from class 8 and class 9. Now it is another, what do you call it? You can just recap on that. Okay. So let us take for example the sum 6x squared minus x minus 2 equal to 0. Okay. Now this sum is a little important. It comes often. I'll tell you why. Anyway, now what is the method of finding the, how do you split the middle term? That's splitting the middle term. We used to call this factorization method as splitting the middle term, right? So how do we split the middle term? We will multiply the first and the last term. So when you multiply, what is the answer I will get? I will get minus 12x squared. Correct? When you get minus 12x squared, now what happens? We have to find the factors of 12. What are the factors of 12? You have 1 into 12, then 2 into 6, then 3 into 4, isn't it? And 4 into 3. These are the factors of 12. I am not taking minus sign, I am just taking only these factors. Now when I add or subtract, I should get the middle term, that is minus 1. Right? So what I will see, if I add 1 plus 12, I will get 13. When I subtract 12 minus 1, I will get 11. So I am not getting the middle term. So I will not use this. Now what happens to this set of factors? 2 into 6. What happens to 2 into 6? When I add, I will get 8. When I subtract, I will get 4. So I am not getting the middle term. So this also will not work. Now the last set of factors is 3 into 4. Now 3 into 4, what happens when we add, you get 7. And when we subtract 4 minus 3, I will get 1. Correct? But I need minus 1. So in that case, supposing I put, you must put this middle term sign for the bigger number. So if I take minus 4 and 3, what will happen? Minus 4 into 3 will be minus 12. Correct? No problem about that. So what happens to, when you add, you will get minus 1. Correct? So now we need x squared. So I'll put x and x here. So my factors for minus 12x squared is 3x minus 4x. Okay? So let us see how this can be written. So this will be 6x squared. Yes? Then minus 4x. Okay? Plus 3x minus 2 equal to 0. So what have I done? The first term I have written as it is. The third term I have written as it is. The middle term I have split into 2 terms such that when I multiply them, I will get the product of the first and the third term, and when I add or subtract, I will get the middle term. Okay, this is splitting the middle term. That is how we learned it in class 8 and 9. Now we will learn it as the factorization method. So then what happens? You take these 2 terms. What is common? In the numbers, I find 2 is common. In the variable, I find x is common. Then what has, now after taking 2x out, what multiplied by 2x will give me 6x squared. So 2 into 3 will give me 6, and x into x will give me x squared. So 2 3s are 6, x into x, x squared. Then put down this sign minus. Then what happens? When I have taken out 2x, it will be 2 will be remaining. Are we okay with that? So 2 into minus 2, my 2x into minus 2 will be minus 4x. Now in these 2, is there anything common? Well, nothing. So when there is nothing common, what we will do is we will take out 1 as the common factor and then write down 3x minus 2 equal to 0. Now do you notice that the terms in the bracket are the same? Only then you are proceeding, right? And so you continue. Now you take these 2 terms. There is 1 term here and a 1 term here. In this term and in this term, what is common? This bracket terms are common. So take out 3x minus 2 as common, and what is left you write it down as here 2x plus 1 equal to 0. Are we okay with this? Now what happens when 2 factors when multiplied equal to something here? It means that the first factor equal to this term and the second factor equal to this term. So what will, now to solve, you take 3x minus 2 equal to 0 and 2x plus 1 equal to 0. So now when you transpose, what will you get? 3x is equal to 2, and what is x equal to? 2 by 3. And what will this be? 2x is equal to minus 1 and x is equal to minus 1 by 2. So have you understood the factorization method? So what have I done? I have multiplied the first term and the third term and got the factor, and that I have split using the different factors for the 12. What are the different factors of 12? 1 into 2, 2 into 6, 3 into 4. Now you see, when you add or subtract, you should get the middle term. When I add 12 or subtract 1 and 12, I will not get the middle term. 2 and 6 also, if I add or subtract, I will not get the middle term. But 3 and 4, when I subtract, I will get -1. So for that sake, I put minus for the bigger number, and 3 I keep as positive, and split the middle term and write it, and then find the common for these two terms, take it out. And for common for these two terms, nothing is common, so I will take out 1 as common and write down the term. Now in these two terms, what is common? 3x minus 2 is common, so take it out, and what is left, you write it as 2x plus 1 equal to 0. Now what happens is, that means this factor is equal to 0 and this factor equal to 0. Then you transpose and get the values of x. Since it's a quadratic equation, how many solutions will it have? Since it is 2, we will have 2 solutions. So we have got x is equal to 2 by 3 and x is equal to -half. So our method of factorization is complete. Are we okay with this? Now this is something we have learned in the earlier classes. Now the type of sum that you can expect in class 10 is like this. So let us see this example. 3x squared minus 2 root 6x plus 2 equal to 0. Now we are going to factorize this quadratic equation. Now when we are going to factorize, it is the same method will follow. Only thing, we have to see how best we can do this root 6 part of it. Okay. So let us do the first step, that is multiplying the first and the third term, and we will get 6x squared. Right. Now 6x squared, what are the factors of 6? We will get it as 1x into 6x, right? This will be this, and you have 2x into 3x, right? Now when you add or subtract 1 and 6, we are not going to get the middle term, or when you add and subtract 2 and 3, we are not going to get the middle term. So we'll have to go by this concept. Now root 6 we need, right? So we know that root 6 into root 6 is equal to 6, correct? And when we multiply, we are getting 6. So we can take root 6 as the factors. Okay? Root 6 into root 6. Now you see, we have to see whether when you add or subtract, you have to get the middle term. You know that root 6 plus root 6 is equal to 2 root 6. Since we need minus, can I say minus root 6 equal to minus 2 root 6? Yeah. So these two will be my factors. So if I take it as minus root 6x into minus root 6x, I will get my middle term, right? So let's see how we can factorize now. When we are going to factorize, we will write on the first term as it is, 3x squared minus, instead of 2 root 6x, I am going to split it as minus root 6x minus root 6x plus 2 equal to 0. Okay. Now let us see what is common in these two terms. Now when we are going to see common, when there is a radical sign, it is advisable to write down the factors of 3 using root. So what will it be? This will be root 3 into root 3. 3 will be root 3 into root 3. What is root 6 going to be? That will be root 2 into root 3. Correct? Okay. So same way, this will be root 2 into root 3 and 2 will be root 2 into root 2 from here. Okay. So let us see what is common in these two terms. It will be root 3 common, and x term also is common from the x square and x term, and what is left? You have root 3x minus root 2. Are we clear? So when we multiply root 3 into root 3, we will get 3. X into x will be x square. And here root 3 into root 2 will be root 6. X will be the correct term. Now in these two terms, let us see what is common. Now when there is a negative sign, put down the negative sign and see what is common. What is common? Root 2 is common. So take out root 2 and what is left? We have root 3x. Now when we have taken out minus sign, this sign will change to minus. Root 2 equal to 0. Are we okay with this? Now you take these two terms. What is common in these two terms? We get root 3x minus root 2 into root 3x minus root 2 equal to 0. The bracket term I have taken out and what is left I have written it there. Now what does this imply? This term is equal to 0 and this term equal to 0. So what will that be? Root 3x minus root 2 equal to 0 and root 3x minus root 2 equal to 0. Now when I transpose, what will I get? Root 3x is equal to root 2. That implies x is equal to root 2 by root 3. Isn't it? So since they are same, we get here also x is equal to root 2 by root 3. Okay. So we have got two roots which are equal for this sum. Have you got it? Since it's a quadratic equation, we should have two answers or two solutions or two roots all mean the same. And we have found that both the roots are equal. Have you understood? Okay. Now please try the homework that I have given and see if you have understood the concept. Stay home, stay safe. Have a nice day, children.